Do you think Mumbai is safe when you come late? Or you said at 9 you see a difference from that when you came till today? Now be honest about it, because so many people in the documentary have said no, we are not so safe. There is something called in the film line. Do you get something, proposals or something which you feel say no? And is there at any time you felt, I don't want to use that word, but have you ever felt that it exists?
Of course it exists. I don't think it only exists in the film line, it exists in every profession. I have a lot of friends in the law, I have a lot of lawyer friends, I have a lot of friends in marketing, I have a lot of friends in advertising, I have a lot of friends from every various profession, and I have heard stories from them firsthand about how, they have to face these kind of issues. And they're like, just because tum film line mein ho, isliye, like, ye cheez bahar aa jati hain. So I think most of the times we hear of that. I have traveled by local train all my life. And I still travel because we have a lot of plays in NCPA. It's very irritating to travel by car every day to NCPA. And I take the train very often. I remember once a similar incident had happened with me. Now that's another thing, because I know that my mother's a cop. I get away with a lot of things. And that's a thing that I've practiced since I was a child, because anybody used to misbehave with me in school also, I used to be like, मैं तुम्हें जेल में डाल दूंगी, you know? So that was like my takya kalam. My mother, in fact, like after a point, she was like, please, Aahana, stop doing these things. So I stopped. So I always like, and I always do this. तो जानता नहीं मेरी माँ कौन है, you know? So that's like my takya kalam, like forever. So I remember once I was traveling back from college, and and there was this boy who just brushed past me and he touched my breasts, and I was just like, did he just touch me? Like, did he just like touch me? And I ran after him, and I caught him, and I gave him like 2. मतलब मैंने धरे उसको 2. And then he hit me back. So I was like, oh shit, he hit me back. So I ran after him again, and then there was this cop like seeing this whole chase happening on the road. And he was like, what just happened? So I got him and I gave him like 3, 4, and I like kicked him and everything, and did everything that was possible in my capacity to, like, I think something happens to you when you're, things like this. I'm sure you are. So, I caught him, and I said, and I told the cop, I said, इसने मुझे छुआ. So the cop said, कि छुआ? मैंने कहा, हाँ छुआ, और खराब जगह पे छुआ है. So उसको बिठाओ अभी, auto में. So he put him in the auto. And I took him to the police station, which is DL Nagar police station. I remember calling up my mother. And I said, listen mom, this boy has touched me. I'm going to file an FIR against him. And मैं इसको अंदर डालूंगी. And that boy could not stop crying. He like, गलती हो गई दीदी, this, that. I'm like, Didi? Did you just call me Didi? You just touched me like motherfucker. Like, it was literally like that. And I don't know, and I think I must have been only 18 at that time when I did this, And my mother came to the police station. We lodged an FIR. He had an exam the next day. He was studying BSc or something. And I remember he had an exam and he had to miss his exam because he was in the police station, and I did not take the compliment. In fact, my mother said, she's like, do you really want to do this? Poor thing, he has an exam. I said, I don't care. He touched me, okay? He's got to be in the police station. I don't care. He misses his exam or whatever happens to him. He should know that he cannot do this to another girl ever in his life. Yeah. But he's not for an exam. He must have been frustrated. I don't know what happened to that guy. I don't know what was he smoking. I don't know what was wrong with him. I'm like, how can you touch a girl inappropriately and think it's okay and then call her Didi?
I get it.
Yeah, right? So, yeah. But my mother told me that. She's like, Aahana, you do all these things because you know your mother's a police officer. And I told my mother, I said, you know what, mom? Even if it's not, even if it wasn't for you, I still think I would have done it. Because I don't think I should like hold myself back because some guy decided to inappropriately touch me. So these are some values that have been inculcated in me since childhood. And as Faye very rightly said, it's information. I think what happens with most of us when we are growing up is that, अरे तुम लड़कियों मत करो, अरे तुम लड़कियों तुम बाहर मत जाओ, अरे तुम लड़कियों ये मत करो. So this whole idea, it's a very deep-rooted conditioning that we all have faced all our lives.
Even in the documentary, there were some people who said, हम जैसे behave करेंगे, सामने वाला वैसे हमें treat करेगा. No, dude, no. That's not how it is. It has absolutely nothing to do with what you're wearing, what you're doing, what you're, where you are at that point. It happens in the most ridiculous places, like your story.
Yeah. I mean, an 8-month pregnant woman.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And and every woman knows this feeling, is that as soon as you have been groped or touched or molested in the wrong way, or even looked at in the wrong way, there's this feeling at the pit of your stomach. It's cheap, it's dirty.
Talking about the abuse that is seen. There's a lot of abuse that is not seen.
I'm sure that your place can be used by somebody else to sit. Back there.
I will fight for it.
There's a chair there. Somebody can take Swapna's chair.
If it's a man, I'll fight for it.
Okay, that's it.
Well, basically, what I was trying to say is that we talk about abuse that is seen. There's a lot of abuse that is not seen. Being a clinical psychologist, I deal with people who come up with an abuse which they do not have a proof of. Like, for example, I have a client who comes to me. She is 10 years old. Her father is a police officer himself. And she goes for a tuition class. And the teacher is watching porn while he's teaching. And through the spectacles, she has been seeing that porn. And she came back home and she is not able to sleep. She went back to YouTube and tried to see what he was seeing. And now she is addicted to it. She's sleepless. She is angry, agitated all the time and irritated. She had not shared this with the parents. She was just angry. And when she came to me after maybe 3-4 counselings, I figured out that it's something about the teacher. And then the teacher is doing some inappropriate actions, touching at his places, but it affects the child. So this kind of abuse has no proof. And what do you go and complain about? There's another thing I would like to share. There's a VP in HDFC, a big post, a big lady. She comes up to me with a Gucci bag and nice goggles, and she takes them off, and there's a black circle here because her husband is beating her. And the only thing she tells me is that I am waiting for him to file a divorce. I don't have the guts to go against him. Or maybe I do not want to take the tag of I did it. Another story I would like to share is a friend of mine who is again my client. She was abused by an Ola driver in a very weird way. There was no touch, again, no proof. But then he was watching her through the mirror, and the way he was stopping the car in the middle, weirdly, she basically reached home, but it affected her a lot. Now what she does is she checks the face of the driver. You know, when you get a message, she would look at the driver's face. Oh, ye theek lagta hai. Then I will go with this man. I said, if my Aadhaar card photo is put on an Ola cab thing, you will never ride with me. So, you cannot judge people by their faces. But there is trauma. I believe that while we are talking about the abuse that is seen, like being touched, we need to do something about the abuse that is not seen also. We must educate people to understand what is abuse first. Because some people just cannot identify stupidity and abuse. The moment ladies know that this is abuse, they will learn to find out the rights against them. For example, if somebody is just behaving bad with me, watching me all the time, trailing me, following me, what do? He is not touching me. If I go to the police and say that...
But stalking, now the lawyer here. Stalking is the new criminal law amendment act which has come. But that is what, again, in the books, Dasha and Disha have tried to explain in Hindi, that it is not chalta hai ki koi aapke piche aa gaya.
Correct. This has to be known by people. Definitely. One, I think there are 2-3 points. One is to identify what is abuse. 2 is to know what you can do about it. And 3, to have the courage to do it. That's all. Thank you so much.
So I think this girl child who is going for tuition is something.
My place is safe.
Because again, this is another thing that we've picked up on the channel that a lot of other channels are not doing. And that's safety for children. Because we've now, like you said, the numbers of crime
are scary.
And the nature of the crime, the stories are just horrifying. And a lot of people don't know this. When we talk about crime against children of a sexual nature under POCSO, people believe you have to protect your little girls. You have to protect your little boys also. More than half of that crime happens against little boys.
That child who was murdered.
Yes.
The older boy did it for an exam, or postponing an exam.
I mean, we still don't know the complete details of that investigation, what the motive was. That's still being looked at. But I'm talking about things like what happened with that tuition teacher. So much of that happens with small boys, and they can't talk about it because mothers or parents tend to protect the little girls, right?